And welcome back. Easter and Passover are two of the holiest celebrations on the calendar. With that in mind, we wondered this: what happens in families that have more than one religion, or where one parent is more religious than the other? Our parenting panel today consists of the founder of the multiple Mayhem Mamma newsletter. We love it. Samantha Kemp-Jackson is here, plus professor of music at York University, Sundar Viswanathan, and the founder of Parent Tested, Parent Approved, Sharon Venturine. Great to have the three of you on today.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Let me start with you, Sharon, if I can. So you are Jewish.
Yes.
Your faith is important to you. You observe some of the dietary restrictions. Your husband, less so.
Less so.
How tricky is that?
So we had an agreement. Before we got married, we had a very frank discussion, and I explained to him how a lot of the holidays I'm much more traditional than he is, and that it was very important to me for our children to be more traditional until they were old enough to decide on their own. So he was very open, honest, and said, listen, I will do it in the home. I will do things that are important to you. Outside of the home, I'm going to choose to do it the way I'm comfortable. So in the Jewish faith, you don't eat pork in the home at all, period. So my husband will choose to eat that, but outside of the home, he won't bring it into the home, and he sets a good example for the kids because he knows how important it is for me.
Sundar, you're Hindu. Your wife is Catholic, and you have two daughters.
A son and a daughter.
A son and a daughter.
Yeah.
The older one goes to Catholic school, correct?
That's right.
This has got to be somewhat tricky for you to navigate as well, because Easter's coming up.
Yeah. Well, think about the both of us, my wife and I. We're both, we have our different faiths that we were brought up in, or that our backgrounds, but we're spiritual in our bent. We're thinking about religion, but I'm open for my daughter to go to Catholic school. The different things that she's talking about in Catholic school, I think there are a lot of fundamentals that connect with Hinduism and with other faiths, for that matter. So it's really about, for her, she's only 4, so
right.
So we're just starting to address these issues. And we went to church on Sunday, Palm Sunday. We all went to church. And, you know, when we talk to her about things, she comes back from school and says, you know, Jesus did this, Jesus, et cetera, et cetera. And I'll say, and then she'll say, oh, who is Jesus, and this and that. And then I'll try to explain to her about, you know, how this is one way of looking at the teaching of one person's view of God, or one religion's view of God, but that several religions have different names for God, and we all have the same sort of foundations. And,
right.
You know, right now it's fairly simple because they're young.
Sure.
I can't say I have the answers yet for later on.
Right.
But I think to keep it as simple as possible right now, and make the kids realize, or at least our older kid, realize that religions are connected. There are a lot of things that connect religions, and that's what's important to me and my wife.
Sure.
So it's more about the teachings than the teacher, more about the message than and how, you know, who is relaying the message. So those are the kind of things we were talking to our daughter about, and there were some things that came up on Sunday. For instance, the word crucifixion and blood came up quite a bit on Sunday. Sure. So she was asking some questions, and haven't figured out how to broach those exactly yet.
Let's bring in Samantha to the conversation as well. So you have a big family.
I do.
And you consider yourself to be lapsed Christians.
Yes,
sometimes you feel a little guilty about this situation. What's it like for you?
I do. I'm culturally Christian. I was raised in the Christian tradition. We went to church on Sundays. I went to Easter. You know, Easter Sunday was a big deal. I'm not really a religious person, but I'm spiritual. I believe in a God, but I'm not, you know, following the religious part of things. But we do celebrate Easter and Christmas and those types of things. My husband's not religious at all. So I think it's really important to teach kids what your background is, but as you said, showing them the commonality between a lot of the different religions. And I think with most religions and most traditions, you realize that there are some things that are similar. So treating people nicely, you know, being empathetic, being kind. I think those are commonalities that we can find from a lot of faiths. So it doesn't matter if it's Judaism, if it's Hinduism, if it's Christianity, there's many commonalities there.
Yeah,
I think that's important to teach kids.
The basics. And what do you hope for your kids, Sharon? You know, when you think ahead to what they're going to do, and how important religion may or may not be in their lives when they get older. What do you say to them?
You know what? I tell them that when they're old enough to make their own decisions, I will give them that freedom. For me, what was really important, and it's similar to what the rest of the panelists said, religion to me is more about the traditions, the values, the understanding of the world around them and how they're going to treat others. Those are the things that I really wanted them to get out of religion. Whether they become extremely religious or not religious at all is completely fine with me. I just want them to have the same value system as I was brought up with. That's the most important part to me.
As a Hindu, you got your daughter and your son. Do you ever feel guilty that you're not pushing it more, so to speak?
Oh, not at all. I think, I mean, Hinduism actually is pretty open to other religions. So more about them having a worldview on religions, understanding what is out there and how different people perceive, you know, their faith and perceive the way they follow their lives through the faith. But like you said before,
I think it's important to show kids that we are all connected and there are commonalities. So instead of religion being a divisive issue, I think it can be an issue or it can be a topic that brings families together, not pulls them apart.
Yep.
I think that's important.
You know, it's also when you're dealing with your children and they're asking you all of these questions, right? And sometimes it's tricky to sort of figure out the best answer to the questions, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. I think, especially in a family like ours where you have we're the same religion, but we have two perspectives on it in terms of how important it is. I think it's important to show the kids all of the options. Educate them, let them know what their options are, and hope that whatever you've instilled in them will be that thing that carries them through their lives, the value system. I think with all of us, what we're hoping to get out of this is the values that your children can get out of whatever faith, religion is important to you.
It's great to have the three of you on today and weigh in on this. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Samantha, Sharon, and Sundar. Appreciate it.